Welcome to Vivid English Podcast. Hello, everyone. I am Sarah.
And I'm James. And a big hello to all of our listeners. It's really wonderful to be here with you today.
It is great to see you too. I'm so excited about our topic today. I think this is something that, well, every single person listening can probably relate to.
I agree. We have a very useful, very practical topic. It's not just about grammar. This is really about surviving in social situations.
It really is. Today, we're talking about a skill that everyone needs, but so many people find, difficult. We are talking about the art of complaining politely.
Oh, this is such an important one. It's a delicate art, isn't it?
It is. Specifically, we're going to look at how to get what you want in a hotel or a restaurant or a store without being rude.
That is the key right there. Because I think for so many English learners, complaining can be really scary.
I completely agree. You can just imagine, right? You're in a foreign country, maybe on vacation, and then something goes wrong. But you don't want to speak up because you're afraid.
Exactly. You're afraid you'll sound, mean or maybe confrontational. You don't want to be that bad tourist. So you stay quiet.
Right. So today, our goal is to fix that. We want to teach you some softening language. And we'll also learn some specific techniques to solve these problems effectively. So let's take a closer look at this skill.
Okay, let's break this down.
So let's start with the mindset. When we say the word complaining, people usually think of something negative.
That's true. Yeah. In a lot of cultures, complaining is really seen as a bad thing. But we need to kind of change how we think about this. Complaining isn't about being difficult.
It's not?
No, it's about problem solving.
Mm.
It's not about attacking the other person.
That is such a good distinction. Problem solving versus attacking.
Exactly. I mean, think about it this way. You're at a restaurant. If your food is cold, that's a problem. The waiter probably wants you to have a good meal. So if you tell them, you're giving them a chance to solve that problem for you.
But so many people are what I call silent sufferers.
The silent sufferer. That's a great name for it. What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, you're in a hotel room, the air conditioning is broken, it's so hot, you're sweating, but you just don't want to cause trouble. So you sleep in the heat, you suffer in silence.
Oh, that's awful. And that can completely ruin a travel experience. I mean, you're paying for the room, you should be comfortable.
It really can ruin the whole trip. And it's so unnecessary.
It is. The important thing to remember here is that the key is not what you say, but how you say it.
Yes, that's the secret right there.
Most service staff, waiters, hotel clerks, people in shops, they actually want to help you. They want you to be happy. But, and this is the important part, they need you to be polite.
So if we're polite, they'll help us.
Exactly. If you're rude, they might just shut down. But if you're polite, they become your ally. So let's talk about a specific technique for this.
I love this part. We have a special method. It's called the complaint sandwich.
A complaint sandwich? Haha. It sounds delicious, doesn't it?
It does. But sadly, you can't eat it. It's a way to structure your sentences. Can you explain the top bun of this sandwich?
Of course. The top bun is the start of your conversation. You always start with something positive.
Something nice? But wait a minute, I'm unhappy. Why would I start with something nice?
I know, it feels strange. But if you start with something nice, you lower their defenses, you make them feel, safe. For example, at a restaurant, you could say something like, I really love the atmosphere here.
Ah, I see. So you give a compliment first. I really love the atmosphere here. This shows I'm a friendly person.
Right. It establishes a connection, and then you get to the meat. This is the middle of the sandwich.
And the meat is the actual problem.
Yes. This is where you state the issue. But you have to be clear and you have to be gentle. So after you say you love the atmosphere, you say, however, My steak is a bit undercooked.
Okay. However, my steak is a bit undercooked. I noticed you said however and not but.
I did. However, is just a little softer, a little more formal than but.
Mm.
And did you notice I also said a bit? A bit undercooked.
You did. You're making the problem sound smaller.
Exactly. That's a softener. And then finally, you need the bottom bun.
And what's the bottom bun?
This is the request. You end with a positive solution. You tell them exactly what you want them to do. For example, could you please put it back on the grill for a moment?
I like that. So let's put the whole sandwich together. I really love the atmosphere here. However, my steak is a bit undercooked. Could you please put it back on the grill for a moment?
Perfect. It's polite, it's clear, and it's very hard to get angry at someone who talks to you like that.
It really is. The complaint sandwich. I'm
Yeah.
going to remember that. It's such a funny name, but it totally works.
It works wonders. But to build that sandwich, you need the right ingredients. We need the right vocabulary.
Yes. And we call these softeners.
The magic words.
They really are magic. These are words that make a sentence sound less accusatory, less like you're attacking someone.
Okay, let's drill some of these for our listeners. I think the first one is super common and really useful. It is. I'm afraid that.
I'm afraid that. So when do we use this? We aren't actually scared, are we?
No, we're not scared. We're not trembling with fear. It's just a very polite way to introduce some bad news.
Okay, can you give us an example?
Sure. Imagine you're checking out of a hotel. You look at the bill, and the price is wrong. You don't want to just say, the price is wrong.
No, that sounds aggressive. Like I'm accusing them of trying to steal from me.
It does. So instead you say, I'm afraid there's a mistake on my bill.
I'm afraid there's a mistake on my bill.
It signals that you're sorry to bring up a problem, even when it's not your fault. Very, very British, but Americans use it all the time too.
Okay, what's the next softener?
The next one is, it seems there is a slight issue with.
It seems there's a slight issue with. Why is this one so good?
This one is great because it kind of distances the person from the problem.
Right.
You're not saying you made a mistake.
Right.
You're saying it seems there's a mistake. It makes it objective. It's like you're both looking at the problem together.
I see. So nobody feels blamed.
Exactly. And notice that word slight. A slight issue. Yeah, and it makes the problem seem small and very easy to fix.
That's really clever psychology. Okay. What about when we want to ask for something? I have a phrase I really love for this.
Which one is that?
I was wondering if.
Ah, yes. I was wondering if.
A classic.
Grammatically, this one's interesting. I was wondering. That's past continuous. Why are we talking about the past?
That is a fantastic question. In English, we often use the past tense to be more polite. It creates a kind of distance.
A distance, yeah.
If I say, I want to change my room, that's very direct, it's immediate, it's demanding. But if I say, I was wondering, it sounds like a thought I had in the past, and I'm not forcing you to say yes right now.
Wow. That is so subtle. It gives the other person space to think. So, for example, I was wondering if I could change my room.
I was wondering if I could change my room. It sounds very humble.
It is much, much better than saying, I want a new room.
Definitely. And we have one more magic phrase on our list.
We do. To be honest.
To be honest.
This is a good one for introducing your true feelings in a soft way. Like, to be honest, I'm a little disappointed with the service.
So it's like a little warning that a negative comment is coming.
That's a perfect way to put it. Now, why are these words so important for English learners specifically?
Well, often when people are learning English, they translate directly from their own language. And in some languages, it's totally normal to be direct. You just state the facts.
That's so true. I mean, in German or Russian, for example, directness is often just seen as efficient.
But in English, that same directness can sometimes sound rude.
It really can.
Yeah.
We like to use a lot of padding. We like to buffer the bad news.
We do. And these words act as that buffer. They protect the feelings of the listener.
Okay, I think we get the theory. But let's put this into practice. Let's do some role play.
Yes, I love role plays. Let's do it.
Okay, scenario A. We are in a restaurant.
Okay. A restaurant. I'm in.
You ordered a latte, coffee with lots of nice milky foam, but the waiter brings you a black coffee, an Americano.
Oh, a tragedy. I need my milk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, first, I want you to act out the wrong way to handle this. I want everyone listening to hear how this sounds.
Okay, I'm going to be rude. Here we go. This is wrong. Change it.
Ooh. Wow. That felt cold.
It did, right? This is wrong. Change it. It's grammatically correct, but it's just not nice. It treats the waiter like a robot.
Not nice at all. If I were the waiter, I'd feel pretty bad.
Show us the right way. Use the softeners.
Okay, listen closely, everyone. Excuse me, I think I ordered a latte, but there seems to be an Americano. Could you check that for me?
Oh, that sounds so much better.
Right. I think I ordered, which is great just in case I'm actually wrong. It shows some humility.
Yeah. And you said, this seems to be.
And then I ended with a question. Could you check that for me?
It's so polite. You're giving the waiter a chance to fix it without making them feel stupid.
Exactly.
Okay, let's try scenario B. The hotel.
Okay, the hotel. And what's the problem this time?
The problem is noise. The room next door is way too loud. They're having a party, and you're trying to sleep.
That's so annoying.
It is. Now, show us the polite approach. How do we complain about the noise?
Okay, I would go down to the front desk and I'd say, I'm so sorry to bother you, but it's a bit loud next door. Is there any chance I could move to a quieter room?
Is there any chance? I love that phrase, too. It doesn't demand anything. It just asks about a possibility.
Yes. And starting with, I'm so sorry to bother you.
You are apologizing for complaining.
Yes. It's so polite. It just shows you respect their time.
Right. That's so polite. Okay, one last one. Scenario C, the store.
The store.
You bought a shirt yesterday, you get it home, and you realize there's a hole in it. A small tear.
Oh no. Damaged goods. That's always awkward because you've already taken it home.
Yes. You need to return it. How do you do that politely so they don't think you're the one who broke it?
Okay, I would approach the counter and I'd say something like, I bought this yesterday, but I just noticed a small tear. Would it be possible to exchange it for a new one?
Would it be possible?
Yes, that's another great one for requests. Would be possible to exchange it.
It's very professional. It doesn't sound angry at all. It just sounds like you're trying to solve a problem.
Exactly. And, while we're doing these role plays, I want to mention something else. It's not just about the words.
What else is it then?
It's the tone of your voice and your body language.
Oh, absolutely. That's huge.
Notice how when we did the right way, our voices were lower.
Yes. We weren't shouting.
No, we used a low and calm voice.
And why is that so important?
Because a high pitch or shouting, it just escalates everything. It makes people panic. A low, calm voice tells the other person, everything is okay. We can solve this.
That is great advice. And there's another strategy that might seem a little strange to some people. Smiling.
Smiling while you're complaining.
It sounds weird, doesn't it? If you're unhappy, why on earth would you smile?
It does seem contradictory. I think in some cultures, if you smile when you're angry, people might think you're not being serious.
That's true. But in many English-speaking cultures like the US and the UK, smiling signals friendliness. It says, I'm a friendly person, even though I have this small problem.
That is a very good point. If you're frowning or you look angry, the staff member might immediately get defensive. But if you smile, They relax.
Exactly. So, try to keep a little gentle smile on your face.
Okay, there's one more trick we should mention.
Yeah.
I like to call it the empathy card.
The empathy card. Ooh, what's that?
It is using the phrase, I understand it's not your fault, but.
Oh, that is powerful. I
Right.
understand it's not your fault, but...
Explain why that specific phrase works so well with service staff.
Well, imagine you're a hotel receptionist. A guest comes to you screaming about the noise. You immediately feel attacked.
You feel like it's your fault.
But you didn't make the noise. You're just standing there. So if the customer starts by saying, I understand it's not your fault, it removes all of that personal blame.
It makes the receptionist your ally. You're suddenly on the
Yeah.
same team.
Exactly. You're partners in solving the problem. You're saying the problem is the noise, not you.
That actually connects to something interesting about culture, doesn't it?
It does. We should probably touch on the cultural context here, especially in a place like the United States.
The famous phrase, the customer is always right.
Yes. But also the tipping culture. In the US, a lot of service staff, especially waiters, they rely on tips for their income.
That's true. Their salary literally depends on giving good service.
So there's a connection here. They generally want to fix things. They want to make sure you have good service so they get a good tip.
So you don't need to fight them. They're already motivated to help you.
Precisely. You just need to let them know what's wrong, politely.
But what if the answer is no?
That happens. Sometimes you ask for a new room and the hotel is just completely full.
Right. So what do you do then?
You have to handle it gracefully. You don't want to make a big scene. Just say, okay, I understand. Thank you for checking.
I understand. Thank you for checking. That's a really classy way to end it.
It is. We want to avoid being a Karen.
Oh, the Karen.
Yeah.
We hear that slang term a lot on the internet these days.
We do. A Karen is basically slang for an entitled complainer. Someone who always demands to speak to the manager over tiny things. Someone who gets angry really easily.
You definitely do not want our listeners to be Karens.
No, but we also don't want them to be those silent sufferers we talked about.
It's all about balance.
It is. Use your English to improve your experience. Don't be afraid to speak up.
That is the main message today, really. Complaining politely is a skill. And like any skill, you can practice it.
Yes. The next time you're traveling, or even just out shopping, try using one of these phrases.
Try saying, I was wondering if, or it seems there's a slight issue.
And just see how people react. I think you'll be surprised. You'll get much better results than if you were angry.
And you'll feel more confident too.
Absolutely. Confidence is so key in language learning. When you know you're being polite, you just feel stronger.
Well, this has been such a useful discussion. I feel ready to go out and complain about something.
Haha. Let's hope you don't have to. But if you do, now you know exactly what to say.
Exactly. Thank you all so much for listening to us today. We really hope this helps you on your next trip or even just in your daily life.
Yes, thank you for listening. Just remember, be polite, be calm, and smile. Be sure to tune in to Vivid English Podcast next time. We have many more topics to help you learn.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.